Continuing with our series on the Isshin-Ryu Kata, let's talk about Sanchin. Okay, Sanchin. We all hear how important a kata it is. When I first learned it and as I trained it, I'll be honest with you, I didn't really get it. And I think a lot of it has to do with the way it's being taught and the way it's being presented. All right. We hear that it's a dynamic tension form. I remember the Joe Weider dynamic tension ads in the back of comic books when I was a kid, where, you pit one muscle against the other and you press and you do this and you pull apart and you push, okay? That's pitting one muscle against the other. We don't do that in Sanchin, okay? Also, I think the word tension is not a good word, although you may hear me even use it today to describe certain things. But I don't think it's good. I think the word is a tautness in the body and a spiraling tautness, okay? Creating torque in the body. That's the firmness that the muscles should get. You should not be actively tensing your muscles, okay? Meaning where you're tensing them to the point where the veins are sticking out in your neck. I mean, look, every doctor will tell you that tension is no good for you, okay? So why are we doing this? And the knock we hear, both on Okinawa and outside Okinawa, is Sanchin makes you die younger. Okay, then why are we practicing it? Well, because I think if you practice it right, it doesn't make you die younger. But I think we've allowed a lot of misconceptions, a lot of misunderstandings of this form to creep in. All right. So I'm not sure I'll cover everything in one video today. This may be part one. All right. And then maybe I'll do some more parts to really take a deep dive into this. To be clear, I do teach Sanchin a few different ways. Okay. With the emphasis different in each way. Today, what we're going to do is more of the traditional way of doing this form, but with some different principles, okay, where you'll get a little bit more out of it. I will not be taking my shirt off. I don't want to see me without a shirt on. I'm sure you don't want to see me without a shirt on. I love the guys that are nice and muscular. They want to come out and demonstrate Sanchin and tense their muscles. Those guys should go up on a bodybuilding stage, okay? That's not real Sanchin. The thing to understand about Sanchin is it's the structure form. This is why sometimes Tatsuo Shimabuku taught it first, okay? When I see Tatsuo Shimabuku do Sanchin, I don't see this crazy tension. When I learned and went over it with Master Kichiro Shimabuku, no crazy tension. Same with Sensei Sherman Harrell, and same with Sensei Bob Tayani, who's a senior sensei. Both Harrell Sensei and Tayani Sensei sadly no longer with us, but Tayani Sensei, a senior sensei of Goju-Ryu Karate, a big proponent and person who studied seriously the Bubishi. Okay, so let's talk about Sanchin. First, let's talk about the stance. So Sanchin stance and Seisan stance are exactly the same thing. Okay, the only thing when we initially teach Sanchin and we come out, we have the toes turned in. So the toes on the front foot are turned in. To give you an idea, in feeding crane, this is our stance. So you see, right? Okay, but here the feet are down, okay? Now, the key is we want the knees to kind of go straight. So we don't want this knock knee thing. So what we want to start with the bottom of the feet and we want to grip the floor with the toes, which will create a small bow in the foot, and that's fine for now, okay? As we do that, as we feel that slight tension, that slight grip, you should feel your calf muscles firm up, okay? Now again, you're just gripping the floor with your toes, so you're not tensing your calf muscle. The calf muscle is contracting because you're tensing and squeezing the floor with your toes, okay? So that strengthens the foot. So we want to start at the bottom of the foot, okay? And then we go to the ankle. And we want to make sure our ankle, everything's in a line. We want our hips to be squared to the front, okay? big thing you'll see sometimes is when people turn the foot in, they allow the body to turn here. We don't want that. We want facing the front. So we start at the ankle, we work up to the calf. We want it to be as though it's one of those tripods that when you pull out the legs, each one clicks into place. That's the feeling we want as we're checking it. So we shouldn't be rushing through this as we're doing the kata. Sanchin, if you're practicing it this way, which I refer to in my dojo almost as like a qigong form. All right, you're working on your structure, you're working on the flow of your internal circulatory system. All right, so we tense a little bit in the legs, and as we go up, we check. Now we're at the calves. Right, we come to the knee, we come to the thighs, the quadriceps. Okay, now we come up to the buttocks. So a lot of people teach in Sanchin that you thrust the buttocks forward, and they do the same thing in Seisan stance. They say, oh, you have to thrust the buttocks forward, okay? Tayani Sensei used to jokingly refer to this as humpadach, okay? I don't think it's correct, all right? So I don't think it puts your body in a proper position, all right? So what I've learned from Chinese martial arts is what you really should be doing is when you're in this position is you're pulling your spine straight down. So from here, my head doesn't go down like this. I pull my spine straight down. And often when I show this at seminars, I have someone put a finger here and have someone put a finger here and have someone put a hand on top of my head. And then I stretch my spine and my head never lowers. And the reaction is usually pretty interesting because obviously it's a strange thing. And the question I get asked is, how are you doing that, Sensei? So this was taught to me by Master Chen Zhanghua in relation to Taiji. And what Master Chen Zhanghua said is you pull the spine straight down and at the very end, you just tuck it under a little. So you tuck it under a little. And what this creates is it creates like a tripod effect with the stance. So this is what makes the stance very strong. If you just thrust your hips forward, it actually takes your body out of alignment. So now your upper and lower half is a little disconnected. You don't have the power you should have. But when I push the spine straight down, now I feel pressure on the bottom of the feet. Okay? And I feel the back is aligned and straight. Not that it does that curve in and then my butt sticks out. I get rid of that curvature, right? So again, when I'm here, you see this. But when I do this, the back becomes completely straight, okay? This is what we're striving for. Now, understand something. The ability to stretch the spine is extremely difficult. And I'm often asked, well, Sensei, how did you accomplish that? Well, again, I'm a bit of a martial arts maniac, right? So Master Chen Zhanghua comes in, this is years ago, for a workshop, and he teaches me this concept. And he showed me where I touched him, and I felt it expand. So my immediate thought was, well, if he can do it, I should be able to do it. So I started working on it. And I was working on it the whole weekend, like constantly trying to pull it down, pull it down, pull it down. After the second or third day, there was a middle spot in my back in this area that actually felt muscle sore. And it was directly along the line of my spine. So it felt like I'd been working those muscles that are within the spine. And it was muscle sore. And I mentioned it to Master Chen, and he said, well, you're actually stretching it now. So now your body's reacting to it. So what I will tell you is, I used to, a few times a year, I would get pretty severe lower back spasms, right? Because a lot of us carry stress in our lower back and our necks. And there are some studies that show that the lower back stress really didn't start till after World War II, when the world began to be a little bit more complicated place, okay? So I started doing this, and then I realized after a couple of years, I hadn't had any back spasms. So when I practice Sanchin, when I practice my martial arts, and I'm in that kind of stance, I try to work where I pull the spine down. And again, it's not easy to accomplish. But if you can accomplish it, if you can work on it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay? So that's what you want to do. So again, we come out, we're in Sanchin stance. Okay? We check our legs, make sure everything's in alignment, everything's firm. Okay? Now we pull the spine down, the back is very straight. Now we come up to this part of the body. Okay? So from here, right, the trunk should be very, very square. So from the side, everything should be like this. You shouldn't be like this. Everything should be here. Now the head. So again, the rod is through the body, and I've talked about this in other videos. The rod has to be through the center of the body in Sanchin. Okay? I've seen a ton of people, not just in Isshin-Ryu, but I've seen a lot of it in Isshin-Ryu, where they come out and they do things like this, and then they do this, and they overemphasize all these movements. No good. Okay? Remember what we just talked about. Sanchin is the structure form. Okay? So we want to work on our physical structure as we're practicing this kata. Okay? So I come out, right, and I'm here. I check everything. I grip the floor with my toes. Everything's nice and firm, but it's not like a rock. I'm not tensing my legs myself, right? Pull the spine down, chin is in, rod through the body, okay? And now I come out to do my first movement. Okay. So we see a lot of this in Sanchin, where we see this action, okay? As I come out, I want to rotate the arms like this. And as I rotate the arms like this, the elbows come in. So I'm not doing this, right? I come up and now I rotate the arms and the elbows come in. And this is what I want my position to be. So I want a fist width from my rib to here, okay? And I want the fist to be slightly outside of the shoulders, while maintaining my back straight, my head up, my chin in. Okay? Notice we haven't talked about breathing yet. Well, that's coming up. Okay? So this would be our position. All right? So again, what does this position look like? Well, in Uechi-Ryu, you see it like this. Okay? So the Sanchin that we do in Isshin-Ryu, some people in Goju-Ryu refer to it as Sanchin Sanpo, which is 3 steps forward, 3 steps back Sanchin. So Goju-Ryu, many practitioners of Goju-Ryu do 2 Sanchin. They do one where they go forward, then they turn around and they go this way, and then they turn around and they finish the kata. The Sanchin we do is we step forward and then we step back, and we never turn our back. Now, according to Tayani Sensei and other people, this became something they practiced when Miyagi Sensei got older, and he would just sit in a chair and he would correct. So they didn't want to turn their back on the teacher, so they just did forward and then step back. There's some indication that Tatsuo Shimabuku learned this version of Sanchin from Miyagi post-World War II, while Miyagi was in a camp on Okinawa, because our version is very similar to the Goju version. Okay, there's also some historical documentation and some stuff mentioned in some books that are only available in Japanese, that Tatsuo also trained with Miyagi pre-World War II. And that's maybe why our Seiyuchin looks different. So you can't say, well, our Sanchin is almost an exact replica of the Goju one, but then Tatsuo changed Seiyuchin. Well, why didn't he change the Sanchin? Okay, so I think it's probably a good chance that he learned Seiyuchin pre-war, before Miyagi even founded Goju-Ryu, and then Sanchin after the war. And that's why this kata, the 2 kata look the way they are. Okay, so let's talk about the breathing. Okay, so we step out, we get into our position, and now we're going to come up and breathe. Okay, so we're going to inhale. We're going to inhale through the nose. So now this is where some of the weirdness comes in. So you want to visualize that you're inhaling and you want to fill the lungs max capacity. So you want to inhale the air, bring it down to the tanden, or like they say in Chinese martial arts, the dantian. And then you want that air to come down here, and you want to imagine that it's going around your body like this and meeting at the Mingmen point in the center of the back. Okay? So I know it sounds crazy, all right? But the idea is to reach high levels of martial art, you have to have a vivid imagination. And when practicing Sanchin, you have to have a vivid imagination, okay? So again, we're going to come out, we're going to inhale, right? So as I come out and inhale, and then I exhale. Now, I hear talk of the hard breathing. Okay. Yeah. I'm not a fan. I think it's a misunderstanding of some techniques from certain martial arts. For instance, in feeding crane, we do that kind of thing where we come up, right? And as we do this, we go, it's an inhale. It's not an exhale. So when we do this, right? So it's here. It's like a snort. Okay? So when I first heard Master Lu Changyi and feeding crane Kung Fu, Shihei Quan, we have Sanchin Kata. Okay? But very different from this. But when I first heard him make that noise, I asked him, first I asked a few people in the room, is Master Lu inhaling or is he exhaling? And they all said he was exhaling. It was a room full of karate guys. When I asked Master Lu, he says, no. I'm making that noise, I'm inhaling. And I said, why do we make that noise? He says, you're focusing on bringing your breath, your energy, your chi down to the dantian or the tanden, okay? So when you hear us inhale and make that noise in feeding crane, if you put your fingers here on my body, you'd feel this part of my body vibrating as I'm doing that inhale. So again, with some of the breathing stuff we're doing in Okinawan karate, as far as Sanchin's concerned, the question becomes, is it possible there was a misunderstanding? You know, it is. So I don't know. But so I'm giving you what I've discovered and from my research, why I practice Sanchin the way I do. Okay. So we're going to come out and we're going to be inhaling, right? Through the nose, down here, come around, right? So it should be nice and slow. Everything came around to the Mingman. Now as I get to here, this rotates like this. The elbows come in. Exhale. Okay. As I exhale, I'm going to clench the anus. Squeezing the anus. Okay? When you squeeze the anus, you will feel a firmness come into the rest of the body. You'll feel your abs contract. Okay? So, in Chinese martial arts, specifically Qigong and Chinese medicine theory, the Hun-Yin point, which is between the legs, okay, directly under the center of the body, all right, they believe your qi or your energy is leaking from that point all the time. And the way to slow that down is to clench your anus. So when you clench your anus, as you squeeze, you feel the abs tighten. And you'll feel a little tension come into your body. But it's not really a tension. It's a firmness. By the clenching of the anus, okay, you feel that light firmness in the muscles. That's what we want. So we don't want to get here and be tensing so much that the veins in our neck are bulging. And, you know, we're trying to make our arms look nice for people to go, oh, that guy's got nice arms. Oh, look at his body, right? No, that's not the purpose, okay? So we want the muscles to be firm. We don't want them over tensed. We don't want no tension at all or no tautness at all. So Tayani Sensei, I thought, put it the best. He was Italian. So when I was studying Sanchin with him and he was going over it deeply, he says, Mike, Sanchin should be like macaroni. He says when you cook macaroni, if you cook it too long, it comes out like mush. And if you cook it too little, it's hard and brittle, right? And if you cook it just right, it's al dente, that perfect firmness of the pasta. And I thought that explanation was classic and great. And I often use it in my school. And obviously I'm using it here in this video. So that's what we want. The over tensing of the body causes harm. We don't want to cause harm. You should practice nothing that causes you injury. So it's especially important in Sanchin. Again, the knock on Sanchin is that raises your blood pressure, is not healthy for you. So we want to change that course by practicing it a little bit different way. All right. So now again, we come out, we get into our good setup, our good posture. We pull the spine, we inhale, filling the air down, comes around to the back, and then at the end, these arms rotate. So why do I want the arms to rotate? So if I just go so many people do this. They go like this and go like this. So watch my muscle. If I just go like that, there's not a lot that goes on. But when I come out and I rotate the muscle, do you see how all the muscles in my forearm start to spiral? So the elbow is here, and I rotate, and all the muscles spiral. And when they spiral, they firm up. So when I come out and I'm here and I do this, I start doing this, I'm not putting any tension in my muscles, myself. What's happening is that spiral rotation, right, is creating, the muscles are spiraling and it's creating torque in my arms. So you can see how the arm muscles change. They're very relaxed now. As I do that, they turn. There's a firmness that comes in, but look, it's not a crazy firmness, okay? It's just taut. It's not that hard where now my muscles are very hard and stiff. We don't want that, okay? That is not healthy. That's not a healthful practice, okay? So, again, we come out, we're here. We did everything we just talked about. All right, now the next move. So I see this a lot, okay? Okay. We don't want to do that, all right? So one of the rules in Chinese martial arts is elbow in, hand out, okay? So when we're here, what I want to do is, right, and we're doing all reverse punches, right? So my left arm's going to get pulled in. So I don't pull the hand in. I don't do this. That's hand in. My elbow pulls in. And see the hand just follows along. Now notice my elbow is slightly below my hand. This is not so easy. That's why this shoulder has to sink into the waist. So when I do this, I don't want to do that. See, it raises the shoulder up and I'm withdrawing the hand. Plus I'm doing all this weird extra movement, which we don't want to do. So when we're here, the elbow draws back. And see how the hand is slightly above it. All right? So again, what would we be doing here? We already did our exhale, clenched our anus, felt our muscles firmed up. We twisted the arms, which created that torque in the arms, so you feel the firmness, but you're not tensing it yourself, that tautness. So one of the things I use as an example of those balsa wood airplanes we played with as a kid, where you turn the propeller and it was a rubber band connected in a fixed point. And as you turn and you create the torque in the rubber band, that's what we're trying to do with our arms, right? So we have a fixed point and we turn and it creates the torque in the arm, which creates the firmness in the muscles, which is what we're looking for in Sanchin, okay? So we're here. The elbow draws back. Now, I've inhaled, right? Again, that slow inhale brought the air around, okay? Now I begin my exhale, right? As I come out, I'm going to twist punch for now. At the end, again, I clench the anus, right? And everything squeezes. And as this comes out, I'm torquing the arm. So I don't want this. The elbow has to stay behind. and you finish, and you extend the arm. And at the end, it's that clenching, okay? And you feel your muscles firm up, okay? So now we did the punch, right? Came out, exhaled, okay? Now, all we do is we rotate and we let it come back to here, and the elbow pulls in slightly. So again, creating that torque in the arm muscles when we do that, where everything firms up, but I'm not tensing it myself. I'm not just tensing my muscles, okay? The rotation is creating that firmness in the body that we want, okay? So that's the first couple of moves. So as we go through the form, it'd be the same thing. We come out, right? We come here, inhale. 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 This one will be a little shorter. Again, clenching, right? Now, we step. We do the same thing. We do the same thing here. This draws straight back. We'd be inhaling, exhaling, clench, relax, rotate, right? We step one more time. We do the same thing again, right? Elbow in, exhale, clench, inhale, exhale, clench. Now we repeat it on this side. Once more. Okay, that's the first section. So now we're here. Now our hands are going to open. So this section always has been a little interesting to me, okay? So we finish here. Now the way I do it is I open, right? And I turn. So now again, if you watch the muscles, when I rotate, you see the muscles, you see them all spiraling. So you'll see a lot of people do this, and they do this kind of thing. So again, when you just move your arm like this, there's no torque in the body. There's none of that twisting, spiraling of the muscles, okay? In Chinese martial arts, this is part of the silk reeling. This is what creates that power in the body, okay? So it's that torquing, that twisting, all right? So we're here, right? We just finished here. So now from here, right, I'm going to just turn, right? Now, I reach and I seize. And now the elbows pull in again, and I'm inhaling. Again, clenching at the end. Now, exhale. Okay? And you can, if you want to seize at the end and work on your grip, you could do that. Okay? You don't have to. You can come here. Now, notice what I'm not doing, and I see this a lot. Again, there's no torque in the body. We're trying to accomplish something, right? So again, that's structure, teaching us how to keep our alignment. So we come out exhaling, and then again, clenching and feeling the muscles and everything firm up for a second. Now we come again, grab, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, clench. Okay, so now we open. Now we're going to step back. So now we're in our Sanchin. So again, starts at the feet, check, make sure everything's good. There's no rush. You can wait here a second. Make sure, pull the spine down, work on everything. Okay, now the right hand comes on top of the left. And we're going to bring the elbow in here, right? And the hand's going to come here, and the other elbow is going to come here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to rotate them. Now, if you notice, my elbows don't really move, okay? Now, this would all be, we'd be inhaling. So we were here, right? This would be, again, Now comes in, goes around the back, right? Now we exhale, right? Notice my elbows are back. You don't want this. You want the elbows in tight to the body. Now, the elbows are going to push to the center of the body, okay? So as they come out, we're going to exhale, clench at the end. So again, firming everything up, okay? Now, you can slightly pull the hands apart, step back. Now it's the left hand that comes on top of the right, okay? Now we come here, and then it turns this way. We'd be inhaling this whole time. Now as we exhale, elbows again come in, clenching at the end, right? Again, one more time, right? We'd be checking everything. We can stay here for a second. There's no rush, right? Now, right, we do the last one where we come here, which is the repeat of the first one. We turn, right? Elbows move into the center, push into the center, exhale again, squeeze. We step up, and now we exhale sharply 3 times. And that's Sanchin Kata, okay? I jokingly say, but it's really not a joke, it's the truth. One day a year, I come in this place, and it used to be the same in New York, and I do Sanchin. And I do a good one. And as soon as I'm done, I literally, in my mind, I say, okay, that was a good one. And now the rest of the year, I spent trying to do it good again. So the form is a difficult form, especially when you start to put all the things in it that I've been talking about in this video. If you try it and you work on it, I think you will begin to feel something in your body, okay? I think you will feel your structure getting stronger, all right? So this is one way I teach Sanchin Kata and one way I practice it. Tayani Sensei talked about different tongue positions in the mouth. We inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Normally when I teach it and I want people to make a little bit of noise, right, when they come out. So they, right? And as an instructor, the only reason you're asking the person to do that so you can hear if they're inhaling and exhaling in the right places, all right? Once they have an understanding of the kata, I mean, when I do Sanchin, I don't necessarily add noise to my exhale. You can, there's nothing wrong with it. Sometimes I actually do the feeding crane method of exhaling, all right, where I try to bring the chi, or the energy, to the dantian or the tanden, all right? And again, that has a different feeling. So my studying of feeding crane kung fu and my studying of Chen Taiji, both have had a profound influence on my Sanchin. I heard for years that Sanchin developed internal power. Okay, that's great, but the problem is I've never seen a karateka develop internal power from Sanchin. And frankly, I think most karateka do not understand what internal power is, all right? Then the other thing is it helps with iron shirt. It helps you to develop the ability to withstand blows. Okay, again, if that floats your boat, go right ahead, work on that. I've been in a lot of combat. I've never, ever been in a situation where I felt iron shirt ability was important in combat. Maybe in ancient combat, I don't know about so much in modern combat, okay? But a mention on the Sanchin testing, the shime, okay? I have another Sanchin video up that you could see where I test my students. So when I was tested in Sanchin, I was actually hit with strikes. So I would come out in Sanchin and my first instructor would drop 2 shuto strikes on my neck muscles. Hard. He didn't do it once, multiple times. Then I'd be here and he'd come out and hit me in the lat muscles with shutos like this, hard, right? He'd kick up between my legs as hard as he could, right? He would punch me in the stomach hard, right? And I had to be able to stand there and take it. Okay. And I did, all right? Had a bruise on the inside of my leg for about 3 weeks, okay? And when I began to study with Tayani Sensei, and he did Shime, which is what we call the testing for Sanchin, I remember the first time looking at him like he was crazy. And he's like, what's the matter? I said, well, that's now how I was taught. He goes, oh yeah, I've seen a bunch of your Isshin-Ryu guys and how you do this. And the problem is it's very unhealthy doing that. You shouldn't be doing that. So when I learned how to do the Shime testing from him, I immediately added it into the way I did it in Isshin-Ryu, right? So, you know, there's an old video of Angi Weizu being tested in it. He's being kicked with roundhouse kicks in the stomach. This is just unhealthy stuff, folks. You know, the macho crap. Stay away from it, all right? Look, I've done demos where I come out and the guy breaks a 2x2 over my forearm. You know, whoop-de-doo, big deal. To be honest, you know, if I do it right, I can probably break a 2x2 over 10-year-old's forearm. So it's not that impressive, folks, okay? I didn't think it was impressive when I did it. So, you know, the deeper understanding of Sanchin is what we're looking for here, okay? So when you do it properly, you should feel something in the body. It should feel like, and it should be very good for your health. You know, on the posture, on pulling the spine down. When your posture is very good, your internal organs are sitting in its proper alignment. We see plenty of older people walking around hunched over. Their organs are being pressed together. It's not healthy. We don't want that as modern karateka, okay? So we want that proper posture so our organs sit. In the standing Qigong practice, one of the reasons they stand is they quiet the outside of the body so the inside of the body can realign itself. So Sanchin also has an element of that. So we want the structure to be perfect. We want the structure to be strong. We don't want to be tensing our muscles ourselves. We want those muscles to tense via the clenching of the anus and the rotation of the arms. So you get that spiraling, twisting action, okay? That firms up your muscles, that causes that contractions of the muscles. So we don't want to tense our muscles like modern bodybuilders do. We don't want to flex. We want that rotation to create that firmness in the body. As soon as I do this rotation, my chest muscle tenses up. This all becomes firm. But look, I can still squeeze the muscles. I can still squeeze the muscles. So it's that al dente, that firmness that Tayani Sensei talked about. Hope you've enjoyed this one. I'm sure I've left some stuff out, all right? I will do another Sanchin video on another way that I practice it, which is based more on the Taijiquan, the feeding crane Kung Fu model. When I showed Master Lu that version, he jokingly said to me, oh, Michael, you're too smart, all right? And so what I do is I teach this way is the way I teach to a brown belt who's learning this kata. After black belt, then I'll show them some of the variations and different ways I do it, which is like this feeding crane way, which is more working on short distance power. So I'll do that in the next video. All right. Hope you've enjoyed this one. Questions on Sanchin, please reach out for me. And hopefully you'll understand Sanchin a little bit better after this video. All right. Thanks. Take care.